Hello, welcome to a series of videos that I'm going to be making for the past or over the next couple of weeks. They're going to be primarily Photoshop videos of how you can make textures. It's hard to breathe in this mask. Let's see. So first, we're going to start with head textures, right? This is for whoever don't know how to make head textures. If you already know how to make a head texture, this is not for you because you don't need any of this information unless you want to get to know. Put your head texture into a 3D space. This is primarily for Photoshop users only because I don't know how to use any other softwares. So let's go into Photoshop. Let's do this. Today I'm going to be using 2048 by 1024. Now I am using this as my layout per se because I find this to be more easy to use, and I kind of already understand where everything is on the sphere, so it's easier to understand. I've seen some other people use some really crazy stuff like just this all like everything is just colored, like the entire plane is just colored, and it's, I don't know, it's just not for me. This is a lot more simpler. The last one I was using with like the circle and the eyes, it only works to an extent, so it's no good. Unless you're making a mask like the Obito mask I made, it only works for something like that because it only captures like the kind of like the head. This thing is falling off my face. I'm struggling to breathe. So I do have a screen tablet. Unfortunately for probably a lot of you out there, you do not have a screen tablet, but you do not. This does not require you to have a screen tablet. I had a small tablet, a very small one. It was about this size. That's what I was using to make my textures last. In all of my previous videos with Photoshop and all, that's the tablet I was using. This is very, very recent. It's not that I want to cover my identity because everything's already on, you know, Instagram and online and everything. Because not a flex or anything, but I am an advocate, so my face got to be out there. You feel me? But I'm just doing this because I'm bored and I want to add some character to my channel. So in the future, I'm gonna get a new mask or something. I'm gonna get something. I got this hat on. You feel me? Repping my school Ravens. I don't know if you guys saw that, but no, screw it. All right, this is a lot easier to breathe in. This is so much more easier. So whoever's new into mapping or making Toribash textures, this will help you the most. If you're you know, still an artist and you still make textures, but you're not necessarily efficient at it, this will help you a ton. Okay, if you're a Photoshop artist, that is. So let me show you the places you do not want to be hidden while drawing. So up here is a big no-no. People have their own maps where they have like a big area that says no on it, or like no, because you do not want to like you don't want to enter this area, because it's important to understand that this is only a map and these circles are going to be going around the head, and so this map is going to warp around it because this thing is a spear. It's going to be like wrapping around it. And if you think of a balloon, it's gonna like if you have a balloon flat, you can draw something, it looks normal. But as soon as you blow up the balloon, it's gonna expand and it's gonna warp. So it's kind of like this, but the only thing that's not gonna happen is the expansion. The only thing that's gonna happen is the warping, because we are like kind of like bending this flat line, or this flat paper, whatever you call it. Doesn't matter. Some of you should understand what I'm already talking about. In order to get this 3D column, you go to Windows, and the first thing here is going to be 3D, but I have it here. Oh yeah, my setup is a little bit weird because I don't know, I just like it like this. So I come here to 3D, right? You can't really do anything right now. You come down to the mesh from present, you on a sphere, because this is the thing that we're going to be using. But that's, you know, basically the entire Toribash thing. You know, every single joint is a sphere, and you want to make sure you want to be selecting everything that is. You want to select everything that you want to be seen, right? And when I say seen, it's like this bottom layer is not going to show up, right? It's going to be in the background. I hit create. It's going to take a couple of seconds depending on your computer. And now we have our sphere. Now what we can do within Photoshop is turn it. Now for me, it just took me a while to learn how to do. When you want to look at your sphere and have the lighting be correct and everything, I did change up the settings, so this might not be the same for some of you guys. But you see this little infinite light? You want to take this and drag it until you see the little ball in front of the screen. It's not, and this is not going to be exact, but it doesn't have to be. All right, so now we can grab onto this, and also, oh wait, let me this thing. Let me just move it back up there because, you know, my eyes are just a little bit weird. And then you click on the ball. You don't just start rotating. Make sure you click on the ball so you can get even lighting. Now, you click this little peachy color, or orange color, whatever you call it. And then you start rotating. And that's how you can view your spear, I guess. Now, back to the example I was given about how this thing is going to warp. So at the very top, as you can see, there's this little curve at the very top, right? There's this little indentage, I guess you can call it. This is the warping, right? So originally this is on a flat plane, right? But we set it up so that we can get every angle on this, or every shape on this map to match up with the spear. I don't know how much that makes sense to you guys, but it works for me. Now actually make a texture. Now there's different styles. There's plenty of different styles. There's realistic, there's vector, there's a whole bunch of mixed medias that you can be using for this. So by the end of the day, however you draw is going to determine what you make. Now for me, I be making a bunch of different stuff. I be trying to do realistic, I be trying to do anime, I be trying to do vector. The first kind of style I was going with was kind of more abstract. Abstract, you know, that's my clan name. Anyways, abstract art is a lot more complex compared to something that's realistic. Because if you're trying to make something realistic, you want the ears to be in the right place, you want the face and everything to be in the right place, right? But abstract, anything could be anywhere. There could be a bunch of different shapes, there could be anything. Also, there's horror that's abstract and also realistic, but also horror is its own category. Anyways, we're not doing horror now. So let's just start with something simple, right? I'm gonna show you vector art, right? Or not necessarily vector art, but you know, more line work instead of something that's more realistic. Because if you're ever gonna start with anything, it should be simple vector or simple line work. Because you know that's how you're gonna make your layout, and that's how you can do anything. So you want to start with a sketch. You don't want to necessarily jump right into the actual art because you're not going anywhere with that. Unless you're experienced, like moi, you know, you can do whatever the hell you want. But if you're not so experienced, you want to start off with a sketch. Even I need to start off with a sketch sometime, because if I'm starting on something brand new and I don't know what the hell I'm doing, start off with a sketch. All right, you know what? It doesn't matter. I'm just gonna show you. I'm just gonna make a freehand texture. Right, so I don't know how long I'm gonna spend on this, but I'm just gonna make some quick examples of what you can do. And also turn on vertical if you want both sides to be even. You don't have to do this, but I do this for time's sake. So let's just start with some eyes, right? So depending on how you want your character to look, this could be fine, this could be too wide. Now I don't know if this is too wide, I don't know if this is too close. We can check with a 3D model. It looks just fine to me, right? This can be too wide for some people, it could be too small, it could be too big even. But you know, this is generally in front of the face. If you go to the sides, you can see it. It's looking forward. So that's just fine. Now, you don't have to do this, but I'm going to create a new layer. Now we want to create ears. We will do the nose and mouth later, but so this is where you generally want your ears to be, right? I don't think you should go any higher than this. And definitely don't go any lower than this, right? I should probably explain more on why. I already explained that, right? Down here is going to be where the neck is. Up here is where it's going to be the top of the head is obviously. This, around this area is where all the warping is going to happen. And you cannot see anything around this area. Because if you think about it, the Toribash head is a little bit like, okay, so look at my neck. Imagine my neck as the neck joint. And look at my head. My head is a little bit off of the neck, right? It's not directly on top. It's a little bit ahead of it, if that makes sense. I'll probably have some pictures up or something to give a better example. So you want to make sure your no area is like this or something like that, and for the head it's like it's kind of like this, I think. These are basically the areas you kind of want to avoid, but you still could put detail there. You don't have to not put detail there. It's just that it's gonna be harder to see them, or it's gonna be warped, and you have to like fix things. So let's just make a quick ear. You know, it's not too good of an ear, but you know, it gets my point across. That might be a little bit too far out, but we can see that. We can view it in the model. Just make sure I'm recording. So you don't see the ears from the front, but we look to the side. It looks about right. We could put it further. We could put it in my bag, up, down, anywhere. But I'll just leave it for that. For example's sake, I'll probably just move it. Just to show you where else it would be. That's a little more higher. Okay, that doesn't look good at all to me. Like this is not something I would do. But you know, for example's sake, you know, you could put it up there if you want to. You know, it's your freedom to do whatever. Now let's do a mouth and a nose. So noses shouldn't be too hard to make because it's going to be literally right like under the eye. It could be whatever. Let's just do it right here. Right. Now the mouth, it should be like somewhere around here, right? You don't, or even higher, right? Even higher. Just so that you don't, oh my gosh. Just so that you don't, you know, go too low and it starts showing up down here. Like you do not want anything to be showing up down here. If it's the mouth at least, right? Let's just give him a lip. This is awful, but yeah, let me bring it up because what is this? And you want to bring this up. By the way, if you want to learn how to use your keybinds and all that, you gotta search a video for that because there's a lot of keybinds that I'm using. If you want, I can make a tutorial on keybinds, but that's only gonna be like a couple of seconds. So I might do that, but you know, that's up to you guys. So here it is. It's alright. Nothing too crazy. Now, some people, they don't really like their heads being too low because it makes the characters look like they're looking down. So we could grab everything and move it up just by a little bit. Just like that, so that it's more in the middle of the head. So yeah, now it's looking like it's looking straight. But for me, I kind of like it a little bit more down. I don't know why, it's just me. That's how I've been making my head textures. I kind of like them a little bit more lower. Yeah, that looks better to me because you see more of the forehead. Now for hair is a special thing. There's a lot of different ways you could do hair. Realistically, anime style, I don't know, it doesn't really matter. So let's go for like a fro, you know. That's what I'm rocking with right now, real life. Let's just start off with this kid. Let's sketch up the hairline first. Alright, so this one's gonna be like come over here. Now go down a little bit. You don't want it too low to the eye. And you come back down here. Alright. Let's give this more of a bend. And let's just give this up here more of a curve. I have a little issue with my tablet because when I select the eraser, I start like erasing stuff, and all of a sudden it selects my brush. I don't know if it's like a double click thing, but you know, it's just a little nick that I have about this tablet. The tablet that I'm using is the Canvas 22 Pro or Plus. Yeah, it was about $649 when I bought it. I should have waited for Black Friday, but I was really anxious and I really wanted it at the time, at least. So here I am. Anyways, I'm just gonna do a lot of little flurry stuff because I already have all my lines in place, so I just want to do that. Once you're experienced, you'll be able to use the warping to your advantage and make things look more 3D and so forth. But let's just see how this looks on the head. This guy got here now. Let me make this look like it's going back more. This is kind of looking like that bunny from Arthur. I don't know what his name is. It just kind of looks like that because of the mouth I made. if you guys want to understand how to color, or how to choose the colors you want, how to make your own color palette, how to understand how to make eyes and mouths and all that within Toribash itself, because you know, having to draw a face and all that is a lot different than how you would do on a illustration, like a regular illustration. These two things are a lot different, but you know, some skills will apply to each other. I'm gonna color it. Let me just do a quick color and I'm gonna cut back to you guys. Another thing to keep in mind is when you're coloring, make sure you get all the lines filled in, and just don't do a half-assed job, because it really annoys me when I see, you know, really good artists kind of like do things like this, like they'll just half-ass the entire thing and call their head textures done and just sell it, and it doesn't even get sold. So like, just make sure, you know, you're gonna get in there in the crevices and actually color them in, and actually erase the areas that doesn't make sense. All right, now shading is its own different breed. I wouldn't really suggest it if you're new. Yeah, this looks weird in a sense. It looks, what if I, oh, I forgot to mention, there's also another category that I left out, which is called lineless art. It's one of the more cleaner sides to art, I guess, because you know, there's no lines, so it is also realistic, very realistic, if you do it correctly, at least. Let's see, I'm gonna do a little bit of shading just to show. Okay, so another thing to keep in mind, I haven't told you guys this yet. So when you're coloring and you don't want to like erase, or you don't want to kind of like draw over anything, when you create your new layer, hold Alt and then click in between the layers, right? When you create your new layer, make sure you hold in between the layer over the layer that you want to draw on. So now you're making a mask, right? And this mask is going to be the layer that you're going to be drawing on. So let's just say I have this dot right here, right? These dots. We come over to our mask layer and we want to change the color, or we want to draw into it, right? We can draw over it and it won't escape it, but it won't, it also is not destroying it either. So if you can color it, you can, you know, and draw inside of it and everything, you know, self-explanatory at this point. Anyways, I do this for shading, I do this for extra color and effects and all that. So for the sake of time, I'm gonna use an airbrush and kind of just shade this thing. Now when I'm shading, I don't use black, because you don't use black when shading. You can, but I don't use black when shading. Sometimes I use black for shading sometimes, but generally you want to use a darker shade of the skin, or whatever color that you're trying to shade. You want to use a darker color of that. So in Toribash, when coloring or when shading at the neck point, you want to give it more of like a triangular shape. It'll be a lot more self-explanatory when you see it, but you know, I'm running out of breath. Now this is shading. Now you can also go and do lighting to kind of show where the direction of light is. Now, based off what I've drawn so far, for me, I can already tell where the light is coming from, and it's coming from the top, because all the shadows are, you know, going down or below the nose, you know, the eye, the lip, the chin. If we were gonna do it, you know, kind of more above, we'd be doing all the shadows like here, you know, here, you know, here, and all that. But let's try lighting, because lighting is very important also. And similar to shading, you also want to choose a lighter shade of this skin, I guess. Now the lighting isn't going to be too important, because skin isn't necessarily all that. Actually, no, skin is very reflective to a certain point. So let's just do a little bit of shading here, to kind of like show off where the bone structures, I guess, kind of You can slightly see it. You know, it's fine. I think. A little bit inside the ear. Make this look more sharper. And to kind of exaggerate, you know, where the what do you call it? Where the lighting is. Just give it a little bit of shading. Kind of exaggerate that there's a light source there. You know. So now if you just zoom out just a little bit, you can see it there. Now for the hair, you could go out of the hair. You don't really need to do a whole lot with it. Just do some shading. So because it's like a afro, I guess you have to like be a little more abstract with where you want the shadows to be. This looks about right. It's pretty random. I believe this is fine. Now let's just create a little bit darker spots so that we don't have to create lighting. Instead, the lighting's already there for us. If that makes sense. And we can make strands of hair and all that, but that's for you to do if you want. Jeez, I got a cold, a bad one. Let's see how this looks. You know, it's not a good head. I'm gonna be honest with you, it's not a good head. I don't like it personally because, you know, I don't just draw like stuff like this. It's good fundamentally because, you know, it's everything is where they need to be. Design wise, it's alright. I don't like it personally, but well, I wouldn't wear it personally at least. Any of one of you guys could have this. But you know, overall, you know, it's okay fundamentally. Now let me just tag this, send it out to the world. Yeah. Also, if you're an artist, please enter the Toribash Discord, because that's where you can get your advice. You get to know other people. You can get advice. You can, you know, get well known, become a superstar, get all the money, and e-gamer girls, you know. And also, if you want to show off your work, make sure you are tagging yourself. Make sure you are making a big old watermark, because you don't want people stealing your stuff, you know. But people still find ways to recolor your work, you know, draw over it, just make it their own, you know what I mean? There's too much people out there that does that, you know, but they don't care. And you could always report them, but you know, do what you want. I haven't needed to report anybody yet, but I have seen people redo one or two of my head textures, which is fine, I guess, to a certain extent. You know, I don't really enjoy that. And another thing, if you are selling any sort of textures, right, make sure you put your textures inside of a, what am I even saying? Make sure you compress them. Make sure you put them in a compressed file, because that's how you keep them, you know, not only safe, but you know, you keep the quality. Because if you're sending somebody a head texture through Discord, it's gonna lose some quality, you know what I mean? I don't know what it's called necessarily, but when you send things to the internet over and over and over and over, kind of like if you upload to YouTube, if you upload the same video to YouTube over and over and over, it's gonna lose quality. So for Discord, I don't just don't send pictures over. Just make sure you put them in a file, or you compress them into a file. Then you send it over to somebody. What am I saying? Overall, just put them in a compressed file and send it. That's how you should be doing it, because it's a lot more cleaner that way. Actually, before we do that, we are going to go to Toribash Textures, the website, right? Now it's very important to come here to view your head texture. So if you do not have Photoshop, but you do want to view your head texture, this is a good way to do it. So you want to sign in, upload, right? You want to go to upload, and now you see there's a full Tori here. Now what you want to do is that you want to go on it. Go to open texture panel. Go to head. Then you want to go to your folder wherever you are holding your texture. Select it, and now it's on a head. Oh, well, now it's on its head. Now, in ways, this is better than the Photoshop model because you could actually do the entire thing. But this way is, well, the Photoshop is a lot more fast because you don't have to save the file, then send it, then you gotta click it, and the Photoshop is just a lot more quicker. It's just that we don't have the full model. So yeah, and to get a better quality picture of it, you turn it to its side just a little bit so you can see a lot more details than you would just like this. Put it to the side, name it. I'm just gonna name it Tut. Put yourself as the artist. You could change the colors of the body parts, but I don't really need to do that because anybody can have this. Then you hit upload, and there, now you have your head texture, and it turns on its own, so this is pretty cool. And you can see a little bit of warping at the top of the head, as I was explaining before. It's not as bad as some of the other head textures that I've made, but there it is. Now back to what I was explaining before. Now if you come over to the Discord, you can upload your stuff in the art channel. Now for me, what I'm gonna do, I'm just gonna upload the watermark first and then upload this. So I'm just gonna grab the link, upload that, and then post that, right? And there you go. There you can also ask for any tips. You can also ask for you ask for tips. You can also do this in the market, right? You can post your art and then the link to the 3D model, and then say you're selling it for a set price or anybody that wants to offer. And that's about it. Goofy. See, I'm not even gonna text back because I need to move this tablet back. But anyways, I think that's about it. Nothing really else to show off. That was the tutorial. I will be making other parts. For example, making the neck texture, making the pecs, doing the hands, foot, doing the entire Tori, art-wise. So if you enjoyed this video, please leave a comment. I don't need any likes. You can also subscribe if you want. And also, I do have a clan called Abstract. We're artists. We're artists out here, We do all kind of things. So come along, have some fun, do it if you want. I don't know what to tell you. I don't know what to do now because I feel like I'm everywhere right now. Shit. I don't script these, and I'm very bad at talking overall. So yes, have a good day.